Okay, here are the two big questions. Are you using a trustworthy pen name on in your Amazon KDP account? The second question is, are you creating a trustworthy brand? I want to share a recent study with you because so many of you have great questions about pen names. I want to dive into this so you have more clarity. And I want to share with you some data because science can always help us get better at our business, and science can always help us get better at skill sets. Let's dive into this. According to a study by Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand, people are more likely to trust names that are easy to pronounce. The study found that people with easy names are seen as more familiar, less risky, and less dangerous. Now, if you're watching this and you publish on Amazon KDP in the United States market, and you're not from the United States, you need to just take a 4-second pause and just think about this study and think about your pen name. And this is not a bad thing. This is an opportunity for you to actually make more money. And it's an opportunity for me to, when I go through my book account, to see when my books sell outside of the United States and look at the pen names, okay? Because some of you also make bank outside of the United States. You have Canadian markets, you have UK markets, and maybe you're publishing in the UK too, right? Like maybe you're Canadian. And so this study applies all over the world. And that's why I like it, because this is not an American study. This came from New Zealand. And the study showed that people are more familiar with names that they are familiar with. Okay. So this, if you're like, why isn't my book selling, or my book could be selling better? Like there's things that go into a pen name that can dramatically change the success. And I've been obsessed with this before I understood or started publishing on Amazon KDP. There's a scripture that talks about naming your kids after good things. So when they think of their names, they think of good and they do good. And so if some of you know my kids' names, you're like, oh, that totally makes sense. Okay. And so let's dive into this a little bit more. Okay, a study by Science, app.science says, found that people judge online sellers with easy to pronounce and short names as more trustworthy. The study found that sellers with easy to pronounce and short names were rated on average 31% more trustworthy than those with difficult to pronounce names. So I would discourage you from just making up a willy nilly name unless it relates to the niche. And I'm going to cover that at the end of this video because there's a lot of really fun, creative things that you can do with pen names on Amazon KDP. Okay. But this is just another study. So, and also, like in the Bible, it says, out of the mouth of two witnesses shall all things be established. So, if we're finding more than one study that says that shorter names and more familiar names create trust, then we want to lean into this science, right? On the flip side, ways that create distrust on Amazon KDP is looking at a best selling book and copying their pen name, or looking at a best-selling book and taking a really popular pen name that already exists and use it. That's mistrust. It's actually dishonest and it hurts. It hurts so much that Amazon will terminate your account for doing that type of stuff. Okay, so don't do that. Let's talk about building trust, okay, with an actual pen name. In general, a name is considered trustworthy when it's easy to pronounce, familiar sounding, conveys positive associations. That's an important part, and is perceived as reliable and established, often through its historical usage or connection to well regarded individuals or concepts. Essentially, a name that gives the impression of honesty and stability. So, this is different in every country, okay? And like you could, maybe we should do this, you could Google most trustworthy names. But for me, what is most important when we're publishing in with a pen name on Amazon KDP is the positive association, right? And so making it easy to pronounce and creating positive association. So I'm going to show you a couple websites to help you on your journey with creating pen names. Secondarily, what I want to also mention is that I'm not sharing this to overwhelm you. I'm sharing this to excite you to think a little bit more before you just type in any old name. Okay. So creating a pen name in a US market, and this is really any market, right? You want to pay attention to your main market's language, use of vowels, consonants, and make sure it's pronounceable. Okay. And what the study showed is that pronounceable names are rich in vowels rather than consonants. Keep it short as possible. Another reason that I named my younger two boys different names than most people had heard of was not only the meaning behind it, but I'm married to a man that he is the third. And his oldest son, my bonus son, is the fourth. And so when I married him, I moved across the country and my new last name became Lane. And every person that I introduced myself to, you guys, I was like, my name's Jenny Lane. Do you know what they did immediately? They started singing Penny Lane by the Beatles back to me. I didn't even know that song. They were just like, Penny Lane. And I was like, oh my word, did I lose my identity? It happened so much that I just asked my husband, like, do you care if I just have my maiden name on social media still? And he's like, I don't care. And that's literally the only reason I go by Jenny Hansen Lane is because I people started associate and I wasn't even in the UK, right? In the Beatles. Anyways, um I'm in the USA. So it has a power with people's previous like what they know in their mind. Um now Jenny Hansen Lane, anyways, that is the name that I go by on social media. And most people in person, sometimes someone will say, sometimes people introduce me as Jenny Lane. I don't care. But I don't walk around with my hand out saying that because of those negative experiences as a new bride. Okay. That's a tidbit. That doesn't matter. Okay. So let me show you a couple resources to help you work this out if you feel like this is something that you might struggle with. Okay, so this is by brandmark.io and they've named this the Namelix. And so what's fun about the business name generator is that we can talk about the things that we want to type in. You can see here female digital entrepreneurs, activity books for kids 8 to 12. Okay, so let's say we actually use keywords that are in demand on Amazon to create a business name. Okay, so we're doing activity books, and let's say we're doing and science, art, and we're focusing on the tween. Okay, business name generator. Create a short, brandable business name. Hit generate. We're going to pick out our name styles, and what's really cool about this is if your book starts selling, it's going to become a keyword. So I like the idea of brandable names because if it sells, you can trademark the brand and protect it. And then no one else can use that. Okay. So I am not really, I would avoid alternate spelling because books and readers and buyers care about that. Okay. For a US market, I might avoid non English words. Okay. I would stick with compound words or brandable words. Um, I'm not sure which one to put here. I'm more excited about brandable, so let's actually random. We want it to kind of mirror keywords, right? Okay, here we go. Generate. And it's just going to take tons of what is okay. Tweak Academy. You can see that sometimes AI is not always going to be the best. Now, I say that as someone like I love naming my kids. I could have had more kids just because of naming them. Okay. And I like kids in general. Okay. So you can come in here and this is probably the only one. Think like you can get and add the word press on the end. Okay. If you're going to do like a brand name for Amazon. Okay. So I'll put this link in the description so you can try this out. Let's go to another site. Okay, so this second site is actually Shopify. They want to help e-commerce sell more, and so they saw a market gap to do some branding, and AI is just, it's so fast, right? Please tell us about your business industry, self-publisher, self-publishing press company that focuses on monster truck coloring books for boys ages 4 to 10. Let's go. Okay, let's see what they actually. Hi there, please tell us about your business, industry, or brand personality. You can give this a lot more. Okay, Rumble Road Coloring Co. Love it. I would love it, and I would buy the domain. Okay, Big Rumble Coloring Books. Love it. This, you'd have to be careful with Amazon KDP because you're putting coloring books in a pen name. They might kick it back and say that's misleading. Okay. Colorful Truck Tales, I would only use that if I had books that were high content there. Monster Truck Adventures, that's a good one. It might get kicked back by Amazon. Because you guys know the rules with Amazon KDP, right? But I love this monstrosity. Oh, I love that. Monstrosity Press. I would do that. Rumble Press, killer. This one, it could be taken. I'd have to like go look at the domain. Okay. So that's a second site that I absolutely love if I get stuck. But I love actually flexing my ideation and coming up with these myself. But I know that's not everyone's top strength. I took Strength Finders, if you've taken that assessment, and like ideation is number one. I have billions of ideas all the time. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so the third site, unfortunately, this is a site that I'm on weekly. I only say unfortunate because, like, if I love an idea, I'll go buy it and I'll hold on to the domain name for a year to see if I won't build out a site for it. Okay, so let's just do the last one we saw, Rumble Press. And this is like if you're going to build a brand outside of Amazon KDP and you want to actually build an email list and scale it. Okay. Rumble Press is not taken, which I'm shocked. A reason that I love Namecheap is because it integrates so easily. So if you decided to build a website, you can set up your DNS settings very easily. This isn't a video about that, but I used to use Google Domain and they sold to Squarespace and it's been really messy since then. So most of my domains, I like to get through Namecheap because they have like you can get this for $6, right, with the code. Okay. This is for new people. So that's not me, right? Anyways, I like, now I'm not telling you have to buy a domain, but I want to make sure it's not taken if I'm going to do a pen name around it because I don't want to infringe on anyone else's brand. And I pride myself on having a pen name unique enough that it's not taken up digital real estate on the World Wide Web. So I hope this video helps you. I love your questions about pen names because to me, it is an interesting and important ingredient of having a six-figure book business for self-publishing. So it is a strategy that you can level up and get better at and have an incredible brand that you're proud of by leveraging the things that I shared here. So drop in the comments other questions that you have about pen names so you can also build a six-figure brand on Amazon KDP. Love you. See you in the next video.